On to Argentina, where President Kirchner is calling on governors and mayors across the country to stop raising taxes. She says it's hurting the economy. Joining me now to discuss this is Professor Carol Wise. She's Associate Professor of International Relations at the University of Southern California, live from Los Angeles. Professor, thank you and welcome back to the program. Let me start by asking you, what the president is saying, is that a reflection of the concerns about inflation or concerns about growth?
Well, that's a good question. Basically, it's an inflationary concern. Behind the scenes, the president has been choking the provinces because the executive can control the amount of the federal budget that's delegated to the provinces, right? And so she's been choking them because she's short on cash. We can talk about that later. So the only way they can access funds is to raise the revenue themselves. And obviously simply raising the revenue, irregardless of central government policy, is highly inflationary.
Now, economic activity, or I should say growth, is down from previous years. Could this be part of the solution to re-energize the economy there in Argentina?
Absolutely not. Argentina has so far to go to re-energize the economy right now because they have painted themselves gradually into a corner. I would say they were okay until the global financial crisis, and their response after 2008 was way over the top. And it began with the Cristina Fernandez administration, where it's been spend, 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 and spend some more. At first, it was a counter-cyclical policy, right? You spend when times are bad because you saved, ostensibly, when times are good. But this was spend, 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 and now it's really, with this decline in growth, which was directly related to the slowing of growth in China, it's a big concern.
Professor, I want to read you off a quote from the president and get your response to it. President Kirchner has quoted as saying, if we provide subsidies and you raise taxes or rates, it's a mistake. We can come up with a more rational policy. So my question to you is, what is that more rational policy? What would it look like?
Well, Argentina has not had an outburst of hyperinflation since 1991, all right? And the last one was very similar to what we're looking at right now, which is that the government had become so active in subsidizing electricity, cooking oil, automobile fuel and gas. It was so engaged in subsidies of food, services, and whatnot that the only way to begin to rationalize is to get rid of the subsidies. When you have subsidized to this extent, you pull out those subsidies, and by definition, prices on those goods are going to rise. There's a real risk here of a big just takeoff in inflation.
All right, Professor, I want to thank you for your analysis. Thank you again, Professor Carol Wise from the University of Southern California in Los Angeles.